Now we're live.
We've been talking. Sorry, folks.
Dude, we've been having a fucking conversation for like 15 minutes, it feels like.
So, are we live?
What did you name this? Must See TV.
Yeah.
It still says waiting for Blessed Knives on my television. Oh, there it comes. Yeah, we're live.
Are we?
Yeah, we're definitely live now.
This is what happens when you hand idiots the keys to the internet.
I was so proud that Donnie pulled this off.
We're fucking live. My
I
bad.
was so proud he pulled it off.
I was asking Zach stuff, and he never answered me. I thought, what a douchebag.
That's why
Just
nobody
kidding,
was
Zach.
answering us. That's so funny.
All right. So what you said. All right. So what I said. So I made a video Friday.
God damn.
I think it
What's
was
up,
Friday,
y'all? Thanks for hanging out while I fuck up.
talking about.
You got us here. That's all that matters.
Oh, what the fuck was I talking about?
Were you talking about Steve? Was that the point?
No. Well, I made a video just talking about internet drama. And
Yeah.
that for how much people think like there's drama on YouTube. Dude, I deal in the Facebook groups way more, and there's so much fucking drama.
There's drama everywhere. Look, this is the problem, Scott. We were never meant to get to know each other as well as we do.
No.
We were supposed to be acquaintances that say hello on YouTube and go on with our lives. We all got in too deep.
Well, my point was someone said they just because I had commented, I made the comment, like I was just talking about drama in general and about how when Spyderco released the video stating that, look, MagnaCut, S90V, look,
M390.
that shit's not going to China, right?
Right.
I just said, my point was, no, I think I talked about it. I think you talked about it, and that was it.
My issue is
all those other guys. No, here's my point. All of those guys who are having knives made, and push these Chinese knives, they didn't say anything. They just glazed over it. It was a non-issue.
Right.
But it's an issue.
It should be an issue to them more than anybody. They told us. They
my
sold
point
us
was I don't care about blade steel, right?
Mm-hmm.
I don't. It's not I don't care about HRC. I don't care about blade steel. A knife has to look cool to me. But these guys, there's so many of these big YouTubers, they're fans. They just geek over steel and heat treat because their YouTube kings have told them about it. But then they glazed over it. And then someone had commented that Love Them Knives does testing.
Right. He used to. I don't know if he still does.
Their comment was, I could bring it up and read it, but I'll just paraphrase. They like, Love Them Knives has tested all these Chinese steels, and they're all better than American steel.
That is not true.
And my comment back to him was like, I don't know who that is, but if he's not using a spectrometer, then it's not a
He's not using a spectrometer. He was sending the knives to somebody with a spectrometer, and all that spectrometer was telling them, what do these ingredients add up to? I'm not saying that China's S90V doesn't meet the ingredients part.
Yeah. Here's my
I'm just saying the end user result. Ever since knives have been tested for edge retention, since the beginning of time when this started, the end user result has always been it's not even close to as good. That's all that matters.
And here's my thing: like the guy commented, and I just said, if he doesn't have a spectrometer, then I don't fucking care, and I don't care anyway. Right. You can, if you like the knife you buy, that's great. It's your money.
Right.
I don't care what you spend your money on, but that guy's putting Love Them Knives in my spectrum, in my realm. Then I went to this guy's channel, like looking for these tests, and I couldn't find any, but I clicked on his live. That was my point. I clicked on, he did a live a month ago with Super Steel Steve.
Right.
To where he was bragging about how he could make kitchen knives in 32 hours.
No, he can't.
But that's what he bragged about.
Right.
And that was his big thing with Woody, that he couldn't make 20 knives in a year, right? Because kitchen. So that was just my thing. The dude just, that's my,
I get it.
I look at things in black
If
and
you
white.
tell Lee I can't make these knives in X amount of time, or you tell Whitty I can't make these knives in X amount of time, then you turn around and tell Lee something else. That's an issue.
That's all I was saying. I saw that today and I thought, well, that's just interesting.
Right.
So
that's definitely an issue.
yeah. That when you're bragging to how you're up against the 8 ball, I thought, well, wait, you owe someone 20 knives, but you're bragging about making 15.
Right. The point that a lot of people didn't grasp, and the point that I know was hard for him to admit, was it wasn't about buying the materials, and it wasn't about having the time to make them. It was about what he said was, he come out and said it. I had to make other people's knives and get paid on those so that I could pay my bills. So yes, I took Whitty's money. I paid bills with it. Then when I ruined them, he had to go on the back burner. Is that right? No, it's not right. But it's the financial situation he was in. And
but if you were up against the 8 ball and you owed someone 20 knives and you're bragging about how you can make 15 knives in less than 3 days.
That makes no sense.
That
makes no sense. Everybody knows how buddy me and Kyle are. Me and Kyle don't agree on this situation either. I get it. I just don't have an opinion on it. I think the facts have been put out there. People need to take what they will from it. Steve's a grown-ass man. He don't need me to defend him. So I've just stayed out of it. I still appreciate a lot of things that he's done for knife making that people don't know about. But this situation, I will say he was in the wrong. He said he was in the wrong. How he handled it, I don't have an opinion on it.
I don't know.
Because
no one can take me serious with the shit hanging from my nose.
I took your money. And I spent it, and I made other people's knives and collected on them before you ever got yours.
But I told you to.
I know, but still, is it wrong?
I told you though.
Right.
I don't care when I get that knife. That was. If you would have said that to Whitty, they never had that conversation.
Right.
You told me. See, that's the thing, Shane. You were upfront and honest, and I said, I don't fucking care when I get my knife. Right. I don't fucking care.
Like, it kills me right now knowing that I'm delivering knives that were ordered well after Aiden's knife was ordered.
It's communication, though,
right.
Shane.
Right. It's just the way.
Right. Have any of your customers said, have you not communicated with any of it, right? I think that's the thing, though. That's the difference. It's communication.
Yeah.
And that's my point and that's why,
you don't understand how upset I was, Scotch, that I thought Justin was mad at me. Justin was never mad at me.
No.
But dude, I was losing sleep at night over it. Like,
he didn't fucking care.
Me up. But that's how nervous I was about being in that situation.
So we could say hey Donnie, you want to see something cool?
And I know the fire had already been kind of lit under your ass because you knew why.
Nice.
You knew why Justin's knife was taking so long.
This says, Daddy loves Steve.
Nice, dude.
Yep. This is one of the only things I have left. So
that's cool.
Yep. Communication is fucking key. Right. Like, I can look at Zach's stuff, and I know he likes Benchmade. And I've spent. Someone can look at me and they know me for Strider, right? I don't want to say I am a Strider fanboy, but I'm also, if someone comes to me and says something, I have spent the time with Strider to learn.
Paul, that's what I always tell Ernie when
as much as I can about Strider. So if someone has a question, I can answer it. I won't. I'll fanboy as much as like a fanboy. If you don't like it, you don't like it. I get it. And I always say, for me and what I use the knife for, it works perfectly.
I'm glad Arshier got his knife. I wanted to do something special on that knife, and I tried about 8 times and failed. I don't know why, but I posted a picture of that handle. One side turned out great. The other side, I kept getting an air pocket, and I just could not fix it. I could not, no matter what I did. I finally just ended up, I had to grind the handles off of it and start over. And so I left that special design out so that he could get his knife. But
I know I was going to say, going back to, I might be a Strider fanboy, or I might prefer Striders over, because I know what they can do, because I've used them, I've tested them. But what made me sell off a large majority of my collection was dealing with people like Todd Heater and like
I was
Don.
going to say, because you started buying heaters and you don't need a Strider anymore.
No, I do still buy Striders, but because the experience with dealing with Todd and dealing with you, Donnie, was so what a knife buying experience should be from a custom maker, in my point of view.
Kyle, did we stop?
Right. There was no questions. There was no, I talked to you one time on the fucking phone when I ordered the knife, and we talked.
I didn't even know who the fuck you were.
I know, but we talked. I mean, you were like, but we never really talked again, other than internet shit or through text. Like, hey, your knife's going to be coming up in a month or whatever. But we physically talked on the phone that one time, and I just said, all right, let's go Ripley, let's go dark, let's go this. And then we talked once more where I was like, on the blade, I'm like, I kind of want to see the grind line. Should we go just like not darken the blade? And you were kind of like, cool. And then you hit me back up like, hey, I darkened the blade. It looks cool. Let's go with this. I'm like, I'm cool, man. Whatever. There was communication. Same thing like when working with Todd. There was communication back and forth where there's never been, when I've ordered a custom knife before, there was never, I got what the knife maker, and that's fine too, because it's their art. Like working with Sergei Rogovitz, I got the design I wanted, but I got the knife he wanted to make me. Right? It wasn't the knife I wanted.
Yeah, that's weird for me. I don't like that.
Right? Where with the Ripley,
for you too.
What?
That's kind of what I did to you too.
Dude,
I guess I darkened the blade.
Dude, I wasn't even planning on buying a fixed blade. You hit me up, you're like, I want to make you a knife. I'm like, all right, cool.
Yeah.
No, but like with Donnie, we walked through the process. We talked about it, and I got the exact knife for me. And same thing with like Todd. And I haven't had a knife, and I've ordered lots of custom knives, and I've never had that experience except for those two guys, where the end result was the exact knife that I wanted.
Right.
Excellent.
Well,
you didn't have to get lucky on a drop and get.
I didn't.
Something.
I didn't. And I didn't. They made their knife, but they made their knife in the spec that I wanted. Right.
Right.
And there's not many makers that are willing to do that. They want to make you their knife. Like Dave has a hard time because he wants everything sandblasted beyond gray,
Dave only wants to make what Dave wants to make.
Yeah. Dave doesn't want
That's
it.
kind of what I did
with some fancy stuff.
With Paul Mills on his Joke Wolf. His Joke Wolf's a little different than all the other Joke Wolves. But Paul and Snot Rag financed kind of, if not for them, that batch wouldn't have existed. So I kind of let them pick. But yeah, I much prefer, like I started to put handles on Tree Stabbing Troy's knife tonight, and I stopped because I don't want to just put handles on it and show it to him and be like, yeah, man, that's cool. I want to know what he wants before I put it on there.
So like with
it would be easy to fucking do whatever I want and not
because these custom makers are artists. Like, and I know what Todd wants to do when he's in a mood, right? He gets in a groove, and you can kind of see it through his progression. Like, all of a sudden, a lot of stuff starts getting sculpted, or something happens, and you're seeing what he's into at the moment.
Right.
And then this knife pops up in his feed that is just blasted. There's no fucking color anywhere. It's blasted to nothing. And it's got a thick blade. He posted one up. I'm like, oh, I know who that knife is for. And he goes, I know you do. It was Dave's knife.
Right.
So you'll see a heater coming to Dave, but it was what Dave wanted. No color, just blasted the fuck out. And as little of Todd's touches as Todd could put in and get away with getting a knife for Dave.
You know what's bad, Scotch, is that the knife I made you was like the 7th or 8th knife I ever made, and it's still my favorite.
But dude,
I still love that fucking
what
knife.
I use it for though,
It's kind of useless.
What it does for me, it lives in the camper, and it does nothing but it fucking splits firewood.
Yeah.
So
that's not what I had in mind, though. What I had in mind was killing a fucking polar bear. You know what I mean?
But for me, I'm not going to do that. Hey,
Right.
5-door.
What a 5-door?
Yeah.
5-door, and I got some exciting news today.
What'd y'all get?
Well, our chupacabras finally came due.
Yeah, Kyle, for sure.
But for me, the knife you made me, Shane, it's because I had a Strider fixed blade that was this big that I tried. It sucked splitting firewood with. Like, so that knife for me is just, it lives in the camper, and I just do nothing with your knife but split fucking firewood with it.
Right. Yeah, all I thought about when I made that knife, and that's my favorite groove to get in when I'm thinking, man, if the shit hits the fan and my back's against the wall, what would I want?
Appreciate it.
What would I want? If all I could have is a knife, what would I want to defend myself with?
Yeah.
I love being in that mindset when I design something.
It's the same thing. Like, there's some Chris Reeve fixed blades I want. There's a Strider big fixed blade. It's like, at the end of the day, it's like, they look cool, but I'll never use them.
Right.
Like, they're that, where yours, all right. It's a wood splitting knife.
Right. I ought to be good at it.
It's very good at it. I'll try and take a fucking video of it next time I do it.
Yeah.
I don't want to brag because my custom made sheath is pretty badass.
Is it? I'm glad I didn't make the sheath. My sheath making is getting.
It's cardboard and painter's tape.
I don't know if you're still using that sheath.
I'm still using that fucking sheath.
It's cardboard and painter's tape, dude.
That's the shit. That's the fucking sheath that's still in.
That's embarrassing.
Oh, it's awesome, dude.
Yeah. I made a sheath for a thug tonight, and I'll say my thug sheaths are getting usable. They're getting where I'm content with them, but
that's the same thing though. So I had that. I bought it the same day I bought the heater, and the dude just whatever, tattoo artist like on his fucking plates. So I bought that Savage Creature Defense Tools. It's a very Tracker Dan looking knife.
Yeah.
I think it was awesome. It was beautiful. I look at it, I'm like, I'm never gonna fucking carry it.
Right.
So I'm gonna trade it to a buddy, who's into fixed blades. It's cool. It's beautiful. I can appreciate it for what it is, but I will never use that fucking knife.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm proud of. I'm really happy about this one. I don't like the way it looks so much, but it's my wife's cousin is a hardcore outdoorsman, and he had this little Puko. Now the blade wasn't quite as tall; it was probably like this, and he asked me to copy it, but it was 1095. It would never hold an edge, so this is 65 HRC M4. And the reason I'm excited about this knife is that I know this knife will bring more blood than every knife I've ever made. You know what I mean? This thing will clean deer and turkey and whatever's in season or whatever he can get away with killing out of season. I know this one's going to get used, so I'm excited about that. I want to ship it to him, but I'd really rather wait and just put it in his hands. Now you got me thinking. Should I just start doing some epoxy work and just pour epoxy on a cardboard sheath and make it hard?
It would be
make cardboard sheaths my thing,
dude. It would be. God damn it! Next time I'm out at our camper, I'll take a picture because it's still.
It's such a beautiful knife and such an ugly. It's not even a sheath. I just didn't want it to poke through the box. That's all that was for. Didn't I write better than leather on it?
That sounds. I'm still rocking the knife that way, man. It's hilarious.
Yeah,
it's awesome.
I really
because I'm too cheap to make a nice leather sheath made for it yet.
Yeah,
I'll get there. Maddie, send me your fucking address, man. I'll send that knife out tomorrow.
Yeah, Maddie, do it now. What's wrong with you? Not many people get that kind of opportunity. I got one of my knives back from Sharpman, one of my first sales. I don't know if y'all remember this thing.
Yeah.
But he said the edge didn't last very long, and Kyle and I have talked about it too. My Nitro V, I don't know if the steel has been stressed or whatever. But the first edge don't seem to last very long, but after that, they seem pretty good. So that's why I've been in question whether I want to use any more Nitro V. But I mean, I understand the steel can be stressed, and maybe that first edge is not going to be great. But I'm questioning Nitro V now because it's the only steel. And I'm not saying I had an issue with it. There's nothing wrong with the knives. It just seems like it takes a sharpening or two before they really start to perform. But what does it? I mean, you can buy a brand new Spyderco, and it's the same way.
5-door. What do you want, Maddie? You can pay me in monthly payments of $25. Let's see, 5. I've got a Kyle Bober custom for sale. I've got a Jesse Jaros custom for sale. I've got a Chris Reeve annual for sale. I've got a OG custom Strider performance, and then a double gunner grip OG Strider SNG and S1.
Don't forget, Scott, my first Strider. I don't want a brand new one. My first Strider, I want to come from you. I want it to be one of your Striders.
I will find a fan, and because I know I prefer the SMF, where I know you prefer the SNG.
Yeah.
How I found Javon that perfect SNG for him, I will find you the perfect.
Well, I don't have the money.
I think for you,
when I get my first Strider, I want it to come from you. So
I know for you, it's going to have to be a Lego. For your hands, right?
Sure what that means. Is it just the texture?
I prefer. Well, where the fuck? I keep putting shit down and missing. Okay, it'll be. So there's hold on, let me go get them. I'll be right back.
Was a start.
Woo, that fell.
Somebody turn whose mic off, 5-door? I don't know if 5-door was on the live earlier tonight, but I haven't been in communication with you about this. But I'm going to be as upfront and honest about it as I can. I have lost that recurve thug. I spent an hour tonight at the beginning of my episode cleaning the shop, which needed to be done. It was much nicer working in that clean area.
I
can't find that knife or the thug that I ground for Donnie, and they were laying together in front of my Kydex oven, and now I can't find them. The only thing I didn't do tonight was I didn't go through my scales drawer, which is right beneath it. So I probably need to clean it out and make sure they're not down in there.
So Shane, for you, make me big real quick, Donnie.
We're lucky he got us here. Hey, you did it.
Oh shit! All right, so this is a double gunner grip SNG.
Yeah.
It's contoured. You can get this. The CC concealed carry would be the same, but without the double gunner grip.
Yeah.
For me, it's dude, I love it. It's for sale, so very rare. But for me, it's too thin, right?
Right.
So this one isn't a Lego. A Lego is the G10. This is a performance, but it's the same thickness. So it's a little thicker in hand, and it fills the hand out way better.
I like the other one better.
You do?
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. So you got dainty little girl hands then.
Well, I have big hands, but when I close them, there's not much there. I don't.
All right. So you want all right. So you need a concealed carry or a double gunner grip. This is a
like I can't get my fingers around a Glock.
It's killing me. I kind of want to keep this. This has an asymmetrical edge that was done by Mick. If you look on the spine, it says M Strider there.
Yeah.
It has the custom clip.
I probably can't afford that anyway.
So, Kyle, it's 14 on the double gunner grip. It's in the S110V 3/4 grind.
Jesus Christ! All that sounds awesome, but I won't have that kind of money for a while.
I can get you one cheaper though. But this is so the big stop pins here. So you can see the big stop pins compared to the smaller stop pins on a new Strider. I'll take back the fanny. Shane,
that's why I don't own a Glock, because when I close my hands around something, there's not much room in there. So I don't have long phalanges to get around something.
So I'll take that back on the fatty if Shane likes this. Fitbit, you know what? I've carried them for years. You know what? They do rip. I mean, no more than any other knife. They do fuck your pockets up though.
Do you still want to be big?
I had an idea here a while back.
But
Scott,
you know what I found though? The double gunner grips go in and out of pocket better than the so the Striders that have, so say there's this.
Yeah.
So this is normal. They're all upstairs right now. They have a flame. You know, you've seen the flame lock side Striders, right? Dude, because they're more grip. Yeah, like that. Those fuckers, until you wear that out and make it smooth, those are way harder to get in and out of pocket than any other Strider. Is the flame lock side, because it's got traction. It's like a bead blast.
Yeah.
So there's just more fucking traction there.
I had an idea here a while back, Scotch, of somebody to come out with like a line of EDC pants and have like a folded leather lip on the top of the pocket, so that your clip is going over that little strip of folded leather.
Doesn't Wrangler have some of those?
I don't know. I mean, not like Carhartt where it's, you know,
dude, if you had, like, Striders are a motherfucker. So I've got some work pants that are the double thickness. I just ordered some because of fucking Dark Gravity.
Yeah.
I just ordered some Japanese denim, and who knows when they'll come, but yeah.
Well, I'm not ready anyway. We'll talk about a Strider one day.
We'll get you one.
And it's not. I mean, I've always wanted a real Strider, but it would mean more to me.
And my thing is, like, we will get the perfect one for you when you're ready. When you're making that, you know, because when you're making that fat daddy fixed blade money, not sending your designs to fucking China.
Not gonna happen, buddy. Look, y'all don't believe me. If fucking China reached out right now, it's like, we'll pay you $100,000 to be able to make your thug, I wouldn't do it. First of all, I don't need $100,000. And just like I said, I can't look my grandkids in the eye and know that
I do too, but they're a bitch on pants.
One day their future might be shit because I supported that. I just can't do it. If you can, that's fine. I don't look down on anybody for it. I just can't do it.
My thing with here is my, I mean, with any hobby I get into, I just research as much as I on everything. And when you find it, like I used to buy China, and like I've said this, the knives are fantastic coming out of China. I'm not bashing on the quality.
That Evo Donnie's got, I think, is the sexiest knife design of all time.
I had an Evo, but you know who that guy is though? He copied a Strider.
Oh, I know.
John Swartzen.
Yeah.
He's in the Strider groups.
Right.
He's a huge Strider collector.
Well, and in all honesty, the knife I made you was inspired by Strider.
Yeah.
My gun grip handles on my Heathen and the Thug inspired by Strider. I'm not copying anything.
But what I'm saying, I had an Evo, and I bought it. I wanted one so bad because it had the Strider essence.
Yeah.
Right. And I bought one, and I fucking loved it. But I sold it because I couldn't keep it. I'm sorry, $700 for a Chinese knife is fucking crazy.
Yeah. Especially when you know what it costs them to make that knife.
When you find out what it costs, yeah,
that's
exactly.
$120.
When you do the research and you find out what it costs, it sours you. And I've got if that's your thing, I don't care. You spend your money on what you want, and you're not going to get a bad, right? Unless you're buying a no-name Chinese, if you're buying a Chinese knife nowadays, you're going to get a good knife. Right? Yeah, Donnie, it's a great knife, isn't it?
Yeah, but I don't carry it. I was going to say that to Kyle.
But you can't. So hold that up next to the Strider. It's very Strider inspired.
I mean, yeah.
Yeah. Other than the clip point, yeah.
But with it's a very Strider-esque design. But I get it. He's a huge Strider fan. So
yeah, Kyle, mine's barked.
That's not my buddy Meathead. You know, he's been carrying I don't even remember the Chinese knife. I actually recommended it to him because I know what he does with his knives and I know how abusive he is. Now he's also
this is a gift.
I'm gifting him this Shaman.
Yeah.
But I know I wouldn't want to see him do to this Shaman what he does to pocket knives. So I don't have an issue with him buying a $50 disposable Chinese knife.
Gift.
You know, he'll stick it in a fucking bulldozer track and wedge it up to whatever he needs to do with it. That's what he'll do. So those knives have a place.
Gift.
They do. And when seeing, like, I get my guys a knife every year. And this year we're going to go a little bit more crazy. We're going to get something, you know, last year was a German, a Boker. I think it was made in Germany. Yeah. And yeah, we'll give them something different this year.
Nice ball.
But
did I tell you my Boker story about my brother-in-law getting some Bokers from his granddad? His granddad's passed away. His mother gave him his grandfather's knives. So I took them to Blade Show with me, and I had the Boker guy look at them, and he was like, I can't say for sure, you know, who bought it and you. He's like, but I highly doubt this was his grandfather's knife. This was probably his great-great-grandfather's knife because they were pre-World War I. Yeah, out of Germany.
But
don't get me wrong. A couple of the blades were broke. They're in rough shape. But the guy told me, don't touch them. Do not destroy them. Leave them just the way they are. What is that?
Oh, that's a deadlock.
Oh. Did you get the Medford OTF?
Yeah.
What do you think about it?
It would be awesome. It has to go back.
Oh, does it?
It has the feeling of the deadlock, the same compared to a Microtech.
Yeah.
But mine has see.
Oh yeah.
So what they've done is they've done continuous reversions to the internals.
Uh-huh.
So I just need to send mine in and get the new upgraded. So at least
what do you think's going on at Bedford? Do you think he's in trouble?
Man, no, I think he
I
makes
kind
a
of
very
that you might be in trouble.
I think he makes a very expensive knife.
Yeah.
And I think he realized that the expensive knife market is in trouble.
Yeah.
So he came up with a cheap version of his knives.
Right.
And he was right. I heard him say one thing. I thought, oh, damn, I haven't heard him say that ever. His new Main Street, like
Yeah.
his cheaper version. If he can get that, he said Shields. So Donnie, you know Shields, right?
Yep.
Their knife department has gotten renovated in the last couple of years to where it's pretty impressive.
Yeah.
I've
And he
been there
says,
forever.
if I can get my Main Street line knives into Shields and other big brand stores like that,
I bought my ex-girlfriend a Gripsilian there once.
it will help the entire company. And he's right, because if he can get
I've
like,
been
say,
in a back lot for months, and I have zero issue with the back lot.
yeah, so if he can get his backlogs, how much was that backlog?
Oh, this one?
Yeah.
I traded for it. I don't. There's less than $200.
Yeah, so his are right around $200.
Yeah, I'd buy Main Street. I don't care that
Yeah.
it's a back lot. Yeah,
If he can,
that's some of the best S35 I've ever experienced too.
I think he's making. I think they're an S45.
I know I've sharpened his S35 and fucking hate. It was the worst week of my life. I hated it. That's the only knife I've ever sharpened that I can say was hard to sharpen. It was just so hard it wouldn't remove. I couldn't remove.
Yeah, he does a good, like. I mean, fuck, dude, this knife has been the work, been pried with. I mean, I like. I'm not a steel snob. Like, I don't say I like 3V. Probably
and a
because I
knife
think-
like that though, Scotch. It doesn't matter.
no,
It
it
wouldn't
does.
matter if it was 8CR. It just doesn't matter. in a
It's
knife
so
like that.
thick, but I'm talking about the edge itself.
Yeah.
So being S45, he's probably like I keep saying I'm not a steel snob. I like 3V. It's tough. It's got a cool name.
Yeah, but I rebladed it, Cheeto, with some ABS.
It's probably, I think the name is cooler than but S45 for me has been. I can't tell. That's what gets me riled up when these guys get all pissed off about knife steals and Chinese knife steals and HRC, and I'm taking a knife like this and I'm fucking hacking and it's like metal.
Yeah. If you want to test a knife, if you want to test a knife's toughness, to me, the furthest, if you can pry a pallet apart with it, that's a fucking tough knife.
Yeah.
And if you don't know what I mean, you've never pried a pallet apart. But I don't know what it is about pallets and the way they're made. Them son of a bitches are hard to pry apart with a crowbar. And I've seen you pry pallet planks loose with it.
Yeah.
That's as tough as a fucking knife needs to be.
That's all you need, right? That's as tough. That's what I told Donnie. Like this summer, we're gonna
One of those was Alabama, Damascus.
we're gonna work on a knife for Donnie that can pry shit for me.
I'm going to make you another one in the future, Scott, at some point in time, just because I want something. I want to make you something that doesn't have to live in the camper its entire life. I want to make you something that you might actually carry.
In a cardboard sheath.
Yeah, in a cardboard sheath. A cardboard sheath with, if I'm not mistaken, fluorescent green painter's tape.
It was.
Ball mills. This is one of the first things I made like 5 years ago, man.
Yeah, I mean, I think is Medford in trouble?
If he's in trouble, I'll say this. I think where he's messed up, I don't have an issue with him dividing the country and saying, hey, I don't care if this half the country doesn't buy my knives. But I think he's burned a few bridges in retail stores.
I think he's a fucking douchebag.
That has to be hurting him.
I think he's got where here's so as a business person looking at a business, He's got a expensive product, right? Because it's American made, right?
Right.
He's paying American workers a very good thing to work 4 days a week.
Right.
They work 4 days a week. They have a 3-day weekend every fucking week there.
Right.
They get 2 weeks off at Christmas. They get two. I mean, he's
good to his people.
he's very good to his people. And I think, there's only so many, like, look at all his dealers have a lot of knives, and his secondary pricing is horrible. I've always told people, if you want a Medford, unless you're after your perfect Medford, like the one, get it on the secondary because it's way cheaper.
And a lot of people like to talk about Greg. And Greg is an asshole, but this is my thing. So was the guy that owned Hustler.
Yeah.
But if we start telling those people they can't say what they want to say, we're no longer in a free country. So I support.
Mayor said it. The best. I mean, if you want to, and here's the thing, you can get a brand new Medford because a lot of guys don't carry them. You can get a brand new Medford in the secondary market for half off, and that's his biggest problem right now.
Right.
That's his biggest problem right now.
And maybe stopping selling the Praetorian so that the market's not as flooded with them will help.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we'll see. He's a smart guy. And he's done it for some people. Strider, Vehement Blades.
Yeah.
He's got the capability to do OEM work, but he does it in a very Medford way.
Oh yeah, it still screams Medford.
I think someone who does, to me, Chavez would be a perfect pairing for him.
Oh yeah, you're
because the Chavez
American people would pay $800-900 for a Chavez.
The Chavez American made knives from back in the day were very Medford-y, right? Medford can do that Chavez knife probably better than any American. I mean, it would be a huge. He would do that knife justice. He could do the 228 like the Chavez collectors want in a very Chavez way, and that would be a huge win for him. But
just like everybody's talking about right now, how much money do you think ZT could make OEM and knives?
Exactly.
I think they're making it just doesn't make money sense for them.
But the problem with like Medford was every Medford, so the Vehement is a great looking knife. The Strider .75 AR is a great knife.
Yeah.
And that's why I think he would do really good justice to a Chavez. He could make a Chavez like the old school American made Chavez Mintex were made.
Right.
And people would freak the.
It's not hard. It's not hard to make decisions though that impact your life. Not everybody knows this, but I've been in talks with American Blade Works about doing a collab and making a folding knife for me.
Yeah.
And I already, how do I approach Michael and be like, hey man, I want you to make a knife called the Heathen. Michael Martin's not making a knife called the Heathen.
No.
He's a deacon in his church. You know what I mean? That's what I'm getting at is you can make small decisions like that while you have the right to say what you want and name things what you want, it can come back to bite you in the ass,
But for you though, like your style and Medford would get along great though.
Yeah.
But look, Vehement, he was a fixed blade maker, right? Before that was his first folder.
Yeah.
Was the 5-door. You're in here. You've got one. It's a
If I
great
if
knife.
I do a collab with him, it'll be the Thug. It'll be a folding Thug.
Yeah.
I don't
He-
know if he's going to be comfortable naming a knife a Thug. In all honesty, and that's his right. You know,
Yeah.
maybe.
But as a
Would I be okay naming it something else? I don't know.
but if you want to, he's one of the guys that has the capability.
Right.
Yeah.
I would already
The mongrel. I'm sorry, the mongrel.
This would have already have happened had
What did I say it was called? 5-door?
Vehement or something.
Vehement Knives,
Yeah.
the mongrel. It's Vehement Knives, and they're predominantly known for fixed blades, right?
Yeah.
And the mongrel was the folder.
Kyle, I fucking bet.
It's a great folder, but it's a very Medford folder.
Right.
But it's still a great knife.
Yeah,
Right.
I would have already had an ABW knife with my name on it had the floods not happened. So now I don't know. I don't know if he's ever going to be able to catch up enough to do it.
I don't know what that knife looks like.
It's a Bowie style blade, right? With a it's hard to love because it's got scales like a Medford. They put a faux bolster on it, right? I like it for what it is, but it's just design wise. I think it was like, you know.
But you know why I wanted that knife made so bad at ABW.
Well, yeah.
I wouldn't have cared if I didn't make a penny. But just to be able to say, with 1,976 subscribers, I fucking did it.
Yeah.
So stop lying and saying it can't be done. You know how I did it? By putting in hours of promoting another man's product.
And you know what, Shane? And so here's the thing that will piss people off again. You and I have talked about it. It can be done.
Right.
But you have to want to put in the smallest amount of work.
And nobody is willing.
No.
Dude, Jared Neve was gifted a $3,500 2x72.
Yeah.
He's never plugged it in.
Yeah. I'll say right now.
If that dude made a handful of fixed blades, he could have sold them for $1,000 a piece, and that'd been gone.
We're gonna.
Even if
right.
they
God damn! I really want to. My mouth's getting dry. I think I'm done with scotch.
Your mouth got dry because we're talking about Jared Neve again.
No, we're gonna. All right. People get really pissy, and that's what
by my cup. Are you?
Oh, dude.
I don't know what he's talking about.
Breaks my heart, Shane. It breaks my heart.
It was a joke.
No. All right, here's the thing. I constantly, because no one listens to me. I'm just some dipshit playing show and tell.
I listen.
I know, but the people that, and here's the thing, the people that matter in knife YouTube, right? It is the Neves, it's the Metal Complex, it's because they have the followers, right?
Yeah.
And we've talked about this. They have the influence, and they're influencing new people into the hobby, and that's what bugs me. But they're also just shills. They're just. I
do wish all the new guys could avoid.
I have 286 followers,
and the $4,800 that I blew on budget knives before I realized I was lying to myself.
Yes.
I wish I could help all those guys get that.
I don't like the lying. All right, look. All right, I'm a nobody. You're gonna come to my channel for adult show and tell because I might buy a knife that is interesting to you. But being in this YouTube, you get to see stuff behind the scenes sometimes, enough to where it you know what's right and what's wrong. All right. What pisses me off is I don't like the lying. All right. I don't like you got a knife for free. All right. You as a YouTuber, Jared Neves, got a knife for free. All right. This knife, this company gave you this knife. You made a video on it. You made money on that video. And then you're going to turn around and sell that knife. And then I've seen the claims he's made. I've seen him make it. thousands of times. I spent way more time making that video than that free knife cost me. Well, then you suck at your job. All right. Because making a YouTube video shouldn't, for knives, it doesn't need to be the highest.
I'll be honest though, Scotch. I watched Jared for years, and I don't ever remember a time when he was selling a knife.
Dude,
A knife that was good. I'm not saying he doesn't, and maybe
dude,
I
go
quit
look back.
watching
He's
the
doing
right-
these
the
whatnot.
right-
He's doing these auctions now for him.
I heard. Yeah, see, that's been since I quit watching.
Yes.
The
No,
2 years I watched, he gave
Yes.
that shit away. He didn't ever
No,
sell.
no, he gives some stuff away. He's selling him large majority of it.
Right. Yeah,
All right.
I've heard about that, about this
So,
new auction site.
Did
I just mute the whole thing?
that
No.
that bugs me. There's another guy, Rochambeau.
Yeah.
Gets knives for free and then does a large sell-off so he can buy American-made knives that he likes.
Right.
That bugs me. It bugs me to the point where, like, these are the knives you cherish and you want, and you can afford them. So you will take a Chinese knife and take their money for free and then sell that knife to your subscribers so you can buy the knife that you ultimately cherish.
Right. That you should be telling your fans to buy.
Exactly.
Right.
That, I just think it's not ethical. It's
I don't know if ethical is the word. I mean, it's fine. You can do it, but I wouldn't. I just don't. I gave away all those budget knives. I added it up. It's $4,800. Around about. Figure
dude,
and I gave them all
they're
away.
selling them now. All right.
And here's the thing, I didn't even give them away for clicks. Like, I didn't even post huge knife giveaway. I would just see somebody in the chat talking about something, and if I've known them long enough to think that they're legit, I just mail them the damn knife, you know. But
exactly, and that's and I said this earlier that's a me problem.
right.
Right. It's a me problem. I don't agree with that ethically.
And
I don't agree ethically how they're conducting business.
However, they are. You just hit the magic word right there. They are conducting business.
Yes,
They're not your buddy.
they're not
looking out for you. They're
not.
conducting business. Yeah.
But it's like I said, if anybody wants to listen to me, guys. They're not your friend. They're not helping you out. They're selling you a knife, maybe for a discount.
No, they're on Instagram laughing at you. Like, they're on Instagram in that chat group, joking about how gullible the community is and how easy it is to make money off of.
I would love to know. So that you said that special that group, and they talk about you all the time. I would love to know if they've ever said anything about me.
I don't know.
I
I have a couple of guys that are kind of fringe, like Javon and a couple of others who are in there, and they'll report to me. One of them loves it. Like, as soon as they mention my name, he's like, dude, they are all over your shit today. And I love hearing it. I love knowing that I'm living rent free in their head.
Yeah.
You know, and I also love when they bring shit up and then Lefty's like, leave him the fuck alone. Don't start this because he'll bring receipts.
But that's the thing. They won't. That's the thing. Throughout the whole Chinese steel thing, they don't. They're all pushing. Like, I'm sorry, Jared Neves, your knife isn't in K390, right?
Right.
You love K390. That knife you're selling is not K390. It is.
And here's how we know that. It's because that coating that was put on it would not have affected K390 by 2 points.
Yeah.
It would not have. That's a fucking lie. Flat out lie. Now, maybe Jared doesn't know any better. He's saying, he's repeating what they told him because he wants to believe it. That coating would not have softened that steel 2 points.
I got to take a piss. I'll be right back. We're gonna shit on some more YouTubers because it's fun. Because I know a lot of people say we shouldn't care and I shouldn't care, but I'm passionate about.
I want to ask Ronnie, while you're gone, this pertains more to me and him than it does you. But I have been thinking a lot about this, and I think about the fact of how tight I used to be with all those guys. Had I kept my mouth shut, had I not created friction, think about how many more knives I could have sold if I had Jared showing them
Yeah,
off.
exactly.
Tri-State showing them off. That's how. It's not that I don't care. It's just that it means more to me. Doing it the right way means more to me than the money does. If it didn't,
Yeah.
I'd be sucking those guys' dicks to be showing off my shit and selling more knives.
Right.
So I don't know.
Y'all I've been
I
smoking.
mean, like Donnie, I see you in live
Keep up,
streams.
Junior.
I see you in live streams with guys that I don't necessarily get along with, and I don't have an issue with that. There's nothing wrong with maintaining a friendly relationship with those guys so that they're not hindering your knife sales.
Yeah.
You know, but I also don't see you bowing the knee to them to get them to promote your shit either. You know.
No.
But we would both be in a better situation if, you know, we were politically correct and bent the knee, and we had Rochambeau bragging about our shit. And, you know,
I mean,
it's too late for me. It's too late for me. You know, I've got a
Right.
small handful of guys that I don't expect to buy every knife I make, and when they're done, I don't know how long this will last. You know what I mean? When they're done buying
okay,
it,
dude, nobody could care about my shit 6 months from now. I don't fucking know.
right? Can we all agree how gay it is to wear a weight vest while streaming and you're built like a toothpick? Who the fuck is doing that? I mean, what good does it do to wear a weight vest while you're sitting in front of a computer?
That's right.
Yeah, just pay him and he'll showcase it. You're right. I've honestly, because Jared and I haven't had any friction publicly, I have wondered. I've started to even. The only thing that stopped me from texting him asking me to promote my knife is that I would look like a sellout. But I would like to do it just to see what his answer is. You know what I mean? I would love to see what his answer is. Now, if he was like, "Hell yeah, dude," you know, I wouldn't mind doing that for you. Then I would feel bad, but I don't think he would do it. But the curiosity is killing me. But I wouldn't let him just because I feel like I would be two-faced if I did at this point.
Oh, we sent you lunch, Daddy.
Dude, that's so sickening, man. Those guys are like competing, seeing who can send him the most expensive food.
Dude, it's fucking hilarious to me.
I mean, I get it. He has no interest in being a man.
I mean, I get it. My
Not
hands
even-
are
not a alpha male, not a manly man. He has no interest in being a man. So I get that that it doesn't affect his pride. But you know, my pride's not so big that if I was in a situation where I couldn't feed, you know, my wife and kid, I could ask. But dude, it's just embarrassing, man, to watch that guy let people.
I mean,
The last live stream I
that's
watched,
shameful to me. I want to be doing that shit.
the last live stream I watched, he literally started it with, "Kara and I are going to have to eat out of a trash can if y'all don't send us food." And he had about $200 worth of food sent to him through DoorDash.
He's got about 10 grand worth of knives.
So he didn't just get that meal; he got multiple meals that they put in the refrigerator for later.
I got a question.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly, Kyle.
I get it, mad because you want the views. Donnie, did you ask Neves to look at your knife?
Yeah, that was like a year ago.
Yeah, what did he say?
Well, he said if he wasn't getting it first, then he didn't want to see it.
All right. Now I want you guys. I got some homework for you guys. Go back to Blade Show Texas and listen to a live stream that Neves did with Marine X, where they said he was asked a question. How can you help the community? What would you do? And he said, I would help anybody making a knife. I would say, send it to me. Let me see it. Send it to me so I can show it off and help them.
As long as it gets
No.
the first.
As long as it helps him, he said.
Liar.
Yeah, his exact
Right?
words were, "That benefits me none. If it doesn't benefit
That's-
me, I'm not going to do it."
That's I keep harping on it. That's my biggest problem. And that's my and that, again, it is a Steve problem in this community because I'm a hobbyist, I'm an enthusiast of this community. I'm not in it to make money off people.
I don't even harbor any will anymore. I was pissed about it then, but I don't even, that dude doesn't even exist to me.
And
So
keep
I
in
don't
mind,
know.
that dude
And
doesn't.
The only reason I asked him is because knife modders are friends with him, and I was talking to knife modders about my shit because I used to chat them up a lot, and they were like, "Oh, hit up our buddy Neves and see if he wants to check it out." And I was like, "Okay."
Yeah.
I didn't even know who the fuck he was.
Yeah. So again, guys, the guys in the chat, that's where if you watch my channel, you know I just play a don't show and tell. I'm just buying stuff I like and I show it to you. And it hurts me when I find someone like Donnie that I fucking love. I can't tell you how much I love the knife. And I don't want to say it because I don't want to seem like I'm a shill. I love that fucking knife. Like I love a Strider.
I appreciate it, man.
I love that knife like I love
Here's
a
the thing,
Healer, like I
Steve.
love a Strider.
Even if I didn't like the knife, even if Donnie made something that didn't speak to me, if you really know how difficult it is to do what he's doing with the equipment that he has, that's enough for me to love the knife.
Again, I bought that knife sight unseen.
Which is fucking crazy.
Well, Donnie, you owe me a fucking commission because he wouldn't know who you are if it wasn't for me.
No,
I remember that I was telling him about it, and he was like,
It's true.
he was like, a fucking handmade knife in Nebraska?
yeah. And then you and I went live and got drunk together.
Yeah.
And Donnie was in, and I called Donnie on the way to my airport. On the way, yeah. It's so again, I keep saying this, guys. I keep bashing on these YouTubers because it's a me problem. It's an ethics issue for me. I don't like the way they do business. I don't agree with them. I don't like it. That doesn't mean
I appreciate you.
And that doesn't mean that you guys don't have to like them and watch them. You guys can. I get it. I get the comments in my videos where they say, "Oh, so and so." I get it. It is a completely me issue. I don't like how they do their business.
Yeah.
I wouldn't conduct business. I wouldn't conduct my business how they conduct their business.
This is what I don't get, Steve. How can you go to a channel and trust their opinions on knives when several of us were there and heard Cole bashing Sharif Mangonis's knives, and then when someone informed him that he was in the chat, he was like, "Oh, well, I mean, if you gave me some knives, I might change my mind." How do you listen to anything? How do you listen to anything he says after that point? There's zero credibility, zero honesty, and he said it himself. It came out of his mouth. He said it. Give me shit, I'll say nice things. So what does that mean about all the other knives he's saying nice things about? None of it can be trusted. Now, if you watch him because he's entertaining and funny, hey, I get it. Same reason why I used to watch him. I finally got burned enough that I'm done. I don't watch it anymore, but you know.
Yeah. And
he's
that's
so dangerous.
It's a completely me issue. I don't like those guys. I don't like how they fucking sell. I don't like it. And that's me. So I'm going to hate on it.
Yeah.
Because I can pick up a Strider all day and say good things about it, and they don't give a shit.
Did you guys watch Duty's Daggers video from today?
Yeah, it was great.
That was fucking.
I just started watching Duty.
Oscar.
I didn't watch because I didn't watch Duty for a long time because he push
He's bored.
Chinese knives.
Yeah, and
Something is flipped in him. Something is flipped in him, and he's seen it.
Yep. He's coming around. He's a fucking weird kid, but
Yeah. I don't agree with a lot of the things he says. We don't agree on a lot of things. Like,
no, I want to fucking
but
choke
most of them are minuscule and opinionated, so it doesn't matter. But,
exactly.
But to see him burn those fucking debutantes today was just, it was beautiful, dude.
It was
My
hilarious.
favorite thing he said was, he said,
He used to go live with knife dope.
He said, I might go the route of naming my knife kind of like Neves and call it the piss dirty, I'm headed back to prison. That was the best line in the whole video, dude.
Nice.
Yeah. You know, and I can't say a whole lot. He's naming his knives after criminal shit, and I name my knives after, what would you call it? Less than desirable people. Less than desirable people, thugs.
See, I name my knives after nerdy shit.
Right. Hey, whatever, man. Because like I said, I named my knife that type shit because I am a fucking overgrown man child and I like stuff that's a little menacing. You know, does stuff like this sell better? Yeah. But I want it to be a little scary, to be honest. I like knives that have an edge to them. No pun intended, but you know, like I said, when I sat down to design a knife, all I could think about is the Dakota Meyer story and the fact that he had to kill that last dude with a fucking rock. So I always think I want to design a knife that Dakota Meyer would have carried so he wouldn't have had to kill that guy with a rock. Now, had he been Special Forces, he would have had a Strider.
To me,
the unit he's in wouldn't pay for Striders.
This is the greatest named knife ever.
Yeah.
And that's, I mean,
debauchery knives. Yeah, that's a good one.
The SNG.
Yeah.
Shugart and Gordon.
Those are guys that were killed in action, right?
Yeah, Black Hawk Down.
Yeah.
That's what that
I
knife's
didn't know it was a Black Hawk Down. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Awesome.
The SNG.
Yeah. So those are the guys that volunteered to go in knowing they were going to die.
The 2 Delta. Yeah.
Can you imagine what that takes, dude? Like they told them. They knew they didn't have enough ammo. They knew they were fucked the minute they hit the ground.
Yeah.
And they said, put us in.
Yeah.
I was in the military, and I can tell you right now, we ain't all made like that. I don't know that I would have done that. When they said, hey, we put you in, but it's going to be a waste because you're probably going to die. I'd be like, man, I'll just sit down.
Yeah. Over here.
I mean, if it's a waste, there's really no point in me dying too.
Yeah.
But they went in just so those guys. Well, I mean, one of them did end up living. He was captured, and we got him back. But
the pilot.
That might not have happened had they not went. But is that one pilot worth their lives? In their mind, it was. That's the kind of motherfuckers that this country was built on.
They went in there because fuck those other people.
Huh?
I said they went in there because fuck those other people, you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
So, yeah.
That's what I was saying, though. That whole debauchery branding may hinder me in the future, but
that's all I want to see. So
doing what I do.
When you guys, if you guys ever watch a video of my chat, I'm not trying to sell anything. It's because I'm genuinely excited to get that knife.
Yeah.
And
I am trying to sell you something. Donnie's trying to sell you something. But we're not trying to sell you somebody else's shit.
But it's just the ethics thing.
Right.
You're making your shit. All right.
Yeah.
And that's, again, it's just a me thing. So,
and
spend your money how you want to.
Because we do different things.
But just know those guys.
Competition. I will make a folder one day, and it'll probably suck.
Those guys.
But I'm going to make one just so that I can show it and say I fucking did it.
Those guys gloss over the fact.
You get me down there, man. I'll help you build a folder.
Those guys gloss over the fact that the steel that they're promoting, K390 is the greatest thing ever. It's not K390 or And it's also being made by little children or people who hate their lives.
Yeah,
And
like
no choice.
I could give you the recipe for K390. Could you make it?
Probably
If I
not.
told you exactly how many granules
Quality, man.
I had, do you think you could make it and it come out right?
If I had the right equipment.
I still say it's like your grandmother's apple pie. Even if you have the recipe,
It probably is.
it ain't gonna taste like her apple pie. There's just, yeah.
It might be better though.
It might. I mean, it's a possibility, but the end user result, it has never been better. And when that happens, I'll admit it. When somebody comes out and says, "Hey, man, I tested this Chinese K390, and I did it multiple times, so I've proven without a doubt that it's better than American K390," I'll be like, "Well, fuck, man. You know, where do we go from here?" But the problem with that is it has never, ever happened. So I'm not worried about it at this point. You're
What do you guys want to talk about now?
I don't know. We've bashed YouTubers and we bashed Javon because he chicken shitted out, wouldn't come back.
Exactly. And because Javon has the insight, he's in that group. He sees what they say. I want to hear what they say.
Oh, Javon don't know, dude. When I have the other guys message me, I'm like, why didn't Javon tell me this? I know he's not in there all the time.
What y'all carry tomorrow? Zach, I'm still going to carry the deadlock because I told myself I'd carry it for a month. It's the only knife I'm carrying it for a month. So
yeah,
it's got to be getting close. It's killing me.
Tomorrow,
Scott, if you ever get rid of that little pumpkin one in the future, let me know.
Tomorrow, Shane
Donnie, you want this?
is back to carrying.
Well, I mean, I think it's cool, but I don't have money to buy it. I just think it's cool.
You take $100 off my knife and I'll give it to you.
We can talk about that.
Shane is back in the Mannix 2 game.
I bought one of those. Well, it was a UTX 85 for my ex-girlfriend, and she lost it when she got arrested, and the cops took it.
Yeah.
But I thought it was
thought about selling my Para 3 now that I got my Mannix back, but I'm not gonna. I'm probably gonna send it to Kyle, have him freshen it up and box it up, and make it my grandson's first Spyderco. So that's probably my plans with that. Scott, you say I got that Terran Tactical Combat?
You did?
I did.
Nice.
Yeah. That's the I mean, don't get me wrong, that's a poor man's race gun, but it's the nicest thing I've ever owned.
You got which one? The Canic version?
The Canic, yeah, TTI Combat.
Dude, I almost bought one.
Yeah. We'll have a private conversation about how I acquired it. But yeah, I got a pretty good trade on that thing. Yeah. That's a good idea, Edgy. Wink wink. Are you talking about gifting this to my grandson? I think so too. Because it blows my mind how aware he is of his maturity level. Because he's 10. And when we talk about knives and stuff, and he'll be looking at them and tell me how much he likes it, and he was like, "I don't think I'm ready for that yet, Pawpaw. Maybe in a couple of years." Me as a kid, I'd be like, "Give it to me now," you know.
Yeah, well, exactly.
Yeah, he's very aware. Yako, it's probably right around 1/8 of an inch. I was going to use it for bolsters on Paul's knife, but the reason I didn't. I wasn't concerned about the titanium. I was more concerned about ruining his carbon fiber because it was so fucking expensive and we got so little of it. I am going to use it for a bolster eventually, but because I like 1/8 inch scales. We just talked about that. I don't like thick knives. I don't even like contoured handles. I like a thinner profile. So I think it's thick enough that I can make a bolster out of it. But
what up, Master?
But before I do any of that, I've got to come up with a decent way of cutting it cleanly. And I don't have a way of doing that yet.
5-door. I went and found that picture you were talking about. I joined the Facebook group. I was like, ooh, which one's my knife? And they're all fucking different. I'm like, I can't tell. I think there's one that's really plain that might be mine. So
From who?
Old Dominion Knife Works, the Chupacabra Hawkbill.
I don't think I know anything about them. Am I out of the loop on that?
There were 15 made.
I've heard Chupacabra, but I don't know anything about it. I'm assuming it's an American company.
Yeah,
Are they custom made? Or they?
yeah.
Is it a company kind of like GEC?
It's he makes bigger knives. Hold on, let me see if I can find it.
I think I decided to keep this one for myself.
Dude, I gotta do that. I keep selling everything, and I don't even own a Thug.
Yeah,
I was like,
you gotta have one to show it off, man.
I know.
At all times.
I know.
And I learned that because I haven't had this back at my house for a long time.
Yeah.
Because the fucking Bob had it for a while.
But I appreciate you saying that 5-door, because that shit challenges me. You saying somebody's got the best bevels in the game? Well, tell them to fucking. They better keep at it, because O'Shane's coming for them. You're really proud of my bevels. I know it can always get better, but yeah.
Yeah, I always think mine suck.
I'm proud. I'm especially proud of what I'm doing. Considering
Well, not like I'm saying, like, I look back 4 knives. I'm like, man,
Yeah.
what was I doing 4 knives ago?
right.
We just keep getting better.
Considering what I'm doing and the results I'm getting for what I'm doing it on, I think.
Yeah, man, you fucking pull some nice shit, man.
Out of
All right, next up.
out of
Thanks for tuning
literally
in and hanging out, bud.
out of literally a $500.
It's always Fool's Day around here.
Work on the swedging. I know, Cheeto. I know. The thing about swedging is, it's hard for me to really get passionate about it because I don't care about a swedge. I think if I cared about swedges and I liked a swedge more, I'd be more passionate about learning to do good swedges. But at this point, the only reason I want to do a swedge is for 2 people, and that's Cheeto and Bob DeMarco, because they love swedges. So
they do kind of suck to do.
Today's Ryder's birthday. That's all. Did you give him a big steak, Kyle? I hope you did. Yeah. It's not horrible news, man, but BB's getting to a point where she can't jump into bed anymore. Her hips are. And man, I would spend the money to get her hip replacement, but everybody I know that has got hip replacement on one of those dogs, because they're so strong, like the first time they jump, they just tear it apart. Their muscles are literally destroying their own joints because they're so strong. If I knew it would work, I'd do it. But I think the best thing to do is just make life as comfortable for her as possible. But she's getting where she'll lunge 3 or 4 times, then struggles to get in the bed. We're talking about our American bullies, by the way. That is one of the downsides of owning them is hip issues. You got dogs, Scotch?
Yeah, I've got a German short hair pointer.
Okay. I was going to say, you look like a bird dog kind of guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You look like a bird dog kind of guy. What does that say?
Well, because no offense, but typically most bird hunters or fowl hunters, that's not typically poor people. It's not a cheap sport to get into.
Right.
And knowing that Steve is upper middle class or whatever you want to call it,
sure,
he strikes me as that type of guy that would have a bird dog.
And I don't hunt. I don't hunt anymore.
I get it. I hardly do either.
I love the breed. I had one that I hunted with, and
I'm gonna do some whitetail hunting this year now that I've got the firepower to do it again. But if I do, it's going to be from a tree stand over a cornfield that I can drive out, throw it in the bed of the truck, and drive home. You know what I mean? I ain't hiking 5 miles into the deep woods and dragging a 200-pound deer back. But man, my speaker on my phone doesn't work unless it's on speakerphone. I don't know why. So every time Kyle and I talk, we're on speakerphone. If Ryder ever barks, my dog will start raising hell. They're just barking back and forth at each other to the speakerphone. Scott sits in the boat drinking, playing Duck Hunter on his emulator.
Exactly. I it's funny because I used to bird hunt a lot, and I had a black lab and a German short hair. And
did you really enjoy the bird hunting, or was it sitting in a blind drinking scotch with your buddies that you enjoyed?
no, I didn't duck hunt. So I pheasant hunted and quail hunted. So we were walking fields.
You were still drinking scotch.
Not then. At the end of the day, I enjoyed it was the fun of the hunt, fun of the camaraderie with your friends.
Right. Yeah.
And then,
busting a guy's balls for missing.
oh, dude! But I've got so many great hunting stories.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was and then as I got older, and finding the time to go out and bird hunt, and you're like, fuck, let's go and walk a field. In Nebraska, the pheasant population got so decimated. It just wasn't fun anymore. And shit, it's been 10 years now since I bird hunted.
Yeah.
I'd still do it, and I still would love it and have all the recipes to make it taste good. And I don't know. It's just
you put American cheese on it.
Yeah, I probably would.
I don't blame you. I love that shit.
I just
So
loved we never, I was always, when we got married. So when my wife and I got married, I had my black lab and my German short hair. And she was right in as I was getting out of hunting, and they were just kind of, the dogs were old enough where they didn't hunt anymore. They were just domesticated at that point. And she didn't really grow up with dogs. And when they had passed away, we just never got new dogs. And she was never a dog person. And my kids, they wanted a dog so bad.
Yeah.
And it was right after both my parents died. She broke. She goes, I could tell you were broken and you needed something. And this dog, the girls, I mean, it is the most spoiled hunting dog you've ever seen. She wouldn't survive in a hunting family. She's lucky she got us. She sleeps.
You ever think about that, though, Scott? You ever think about what it is that's just ingrained in our DNA, that we can have such a emotional connection to an animal? And I don't know if it's real or not. I know you don't, Donnie, but to have that kind of emotional connection to an animal, and then them be able to make you feel like it's returned. I'm not saying that it is, but the love that we feel from we would never be without.
Oh,
I'll never. And the bullies are perfect for me, my American Bulldogs, because they're kind of low energy like I am. Now, if you get them excited, they're like a fucking freight train.
Yeah.
But if you're not out walking them all day, every day, they're fine just laying on your fucking feet.
Dog came around at the right time for our family when emotionally we needed something, right?
Yeah.
And right, she does all the stuff, and some people think like you've got a hunting breed, and it's criminal not to hunt her. But on the flip side, we've given her such a good life that she doesn't need to. they call them working dogs, right? A working dog needs to be active all the
But an
time.
American Bully is actually considered a working dog.
Yeah,
They're just as happy laying.
and she gets as many walks and she gets as much activity as she needs to get to keep her busy where she's not destructive.
Right.
But she'll like she's gotten in the groove now. Like in the winter, I'm not doing anything, so like I get to see it. So she's up when the kids are up, and the minute the kids leave for school, she wants to be in under a blanket sleeping.
Yeah.
And she knows they're going to be home around. She's got this internal clock that's just amazing because around noon she'll kind of get up and kind of start getting antsy because she knows they're going to be home.
Yeah.
For lunch, and then they leave again, and it's dormant time again. She goes back to sleep, and she knows around 3:00 they're going to be home, and she's getting walked. She's getting go play ball outside and that shit. And from 3:00 until about 9:00 at night, she's on. She's fucking in crazy mode, right?
Right.
And it's yeah.
My first American Bulldog, when I got him, I was training for a. It's going to sound silly, but I had a beef with a guy, and I'd been ran over by a forklift, so I'd been down for a long time, and this guy said some things that he shouldn't have said, and I'd made up my mind when I saw him I was going to stomp his ass, but I'd been dormant for so long I was a little worried that if I still could. So I went and got a big heavy bag, and I hung it in the tree in the backyard. Well, shortly after I got this American Bulldog puppy, and I fenced in that area of the yard around the tree. So every day I would come home, and I would hit that heavy bag. And let me tell y'all something. If you think you can throw a punch, hit a heavy bag and find out how horrible you are at it. But anyway, I'd go out there every day, and I would train for an hour, moving, hitting this heavy bag, just in case I ever ran into this dude because I wasn't going to let him embarrass me. But that Bulldog, there were straps that hung off the bottom of it. So when I'd get to hitting it, that dog would attack it. And it'd grab the straps and hang from them and shake its head and shit. So that was our time. And then when I got done, I sat down to cool down. You know, I'd love on him. So we were really close. But my neighbor was telling me, he's like, I used to think that dog had an internal clock. He's like, because every day about 5:15, he'll just start running and fucking just jumping up and down in the air because you usually get home about 5:20. He's like, but I noticed today you got home at like 2:00. I was like, yeah, I got off work early. He's like, yeah, and 15 minutes before you got here, he was doing the exact same thing. It's like he knew you were on your, even though it was 3 hours early, he knew you were coming 15 minutes before you got here. It's just crazy.
I think it's hard to describe unless you have a dog that has that, because it kills it. Because like, so my buddy that lives, I just spent a couple days, you know, I said he came and looked at a job with me. He lives in a very affluent neighborhood in Lincoln.
Yeah.
And he's got a neighbor that has a German short hair. And they've had 4 of them in the last 12. So their dogs are only living 4 years, which is, for that breed, is low. This is a 15-year dog, right?
Yeah.
But they treat it as a tool, right? It's only a hunting tool.
Okay.
It's kenneled. It has a kennel in the garage, and it has a pass-through to where it has a little space outside it can go to. And that's where that dog lives, 24/7.
Right.
Really no human interaction, right? They're not, it's just used
Well,
as
that's not good for them if you want them to be well trained.
No, it is just a tool for them. And he's like, your dog is like German short hairs are hyper. They're very, I mean, it's a very hyper dog. Yeah. And he's like, your dog is so, like, whenever he's over, he's like, your dog is just like the calmest short hair I've ever seen, because he's used to his neighbors. It's hunting active.
Right.
I don't know. I think it's the environment you raise them in is how that dog's going to be.
That's what's unfortunate for me, because American Bullies are typically 8 to 10 years, and usually that last 2 years is not great. their hips are in such bad shape they can barely walk. But I love them, man. I have a connection with them. I love those dogs.
Yeah, she's she rules the roost, and it's hilarious because my wife was still, even though she gave the final go ahead, and we went and got her that fucking night.
Yeah.
Now my wife is the one that's fucking buying her sweaters to wear and buying her toys all the time, and it's
Well, my wife wasn't convinced on the bulldog breeds because her parents had told her every time they'd see one, they'd tell her they were dangerous and all this. When we got our first, when we were married, Tyson, we used to take them walking through, like you said, these really affluent neighborhoods.
mm-hmm.
And we were walking one day, and like an entire block away, and it was a long block, I could see this enormous black dog. I don't know what kind it was. But as soon as we turned the corner and it saw us, dude, it tore out. It was beelining for us. And it wasn't running up to play. You could tell it was being aggressive. It was growling and barking as it's running. And I'll never forget that day because we're standing there, and the first person that dog was going to come to was my wife. And Tyson's just standing there beside her watching this dog. And I'm standing there waiting to see, if I need to shoot it or not. And Tyson doesn't look concerned at all until it gets about 10 feet from Amber, and I see his back legs dip. And when that dog had got about 3 feet from her, dude, he lunged and hit that thing with his mouth open, hit it on its neck one time, flipped it. And I kid you not, that dog ran home, all the way back home backwards. I've never seen a dog run that far backwards. The entire time yelping. And from that day forward, because that dog protected her, she's been sold. Like, she won't have anything. I mentioned getting a Rottweiler on her last, the last time we were without a dog. And she thought, nope, we won't ever have anything but American Bulldogs.
She's spoiled. I mean, it's you could be sleeping and she'll come in and she fucking she's so spoiled. She'll just hit you with the paw.
Yeah.
She just hits you, and she's like, "What?" You have to lift the fucking blanket up, and she has to get under the fucking blanket with you. Yeah. Oh yeah, totally.
Maybe will come stand beside my bed and just stare at me. And if I say no, she'll turn around and leave.
Oh.
But she'll come here and stare at me, and as soon as I say the word "come on," I don't even have "on" out yet. When she hears "come," she jumps in the bed and has to fucking pack herself against you as tight as she possibly can, and pushing you out of the bed. But yeah, man, I love it. I absolutely love having a dog. Guys, it's 3:00 in the morning here.
Same here.
I've got shit I've got to get done tomorrow, so I'm going to jump off.
Yeah,
I'm glad y'all decided to do this. It was a good time.
It was,
man.
It was fun exploring Javon's hate arc without him.
Right. Javon's fake hate arc.
I just hope you guys understand where I'm coming from. It's not hate. It's just.
I get it. And I've always liked what Sid Stevie's had to say. This is a good community, but you don't have to like everybody in it.
You don't.
It's okay if you're not buddies with some people. That's fine. You don't have to be an asshole.
I like what he says. If they're not talking about me, I'm not going to talk about them. I get that, and sometimes I'm like, sometimes they need to be talked about because they're just looking to make money off of you.
Right. And I know that the majority of the people that are hearing us speak already know what we're saying.
Yeah.
But like I think Yako mentioned earlier, there was some, and I'm not sure who he was talking about, but apparently we mentioned something that he didn't know. And he said that his mind was changed. So, maybe it wasn't a waste of time.
Well, it was like I go back. Like everybody talks about, say, like Nick Shabazz, right?
Yeah.
And I was on a live with Javon, who Javon had, I can't remember, some knife designer. He has his stuff made in China. Fine, whatever. I don't care. It's just not for me. But the guy said, he wanted Nick to, send him some knives, and Nick was like, "Well, it's going to cost. I charge this much for a review.
Right.
He doesn't disclose that. He does the little thing where it's like, oh, the company sent me this, and it might be the best possible thing, but he's not being honest and saying, I'm charging for these reviews.
Right. Which is that's the rules. I mean,
Yeah, that's
you're supposed to have to do that, and none of them are. And I want to know that. I want to know, like, if I keep hearing you talk about Donnie's knife, I would like to know if that's your general opinion from your end user experience, or were you paid to say it?
It's probably because he's giving me hand jobs.
Probably. But I mean, if he's paying you to say it, I'm going to take that with a grain of salt. And I'm, this is just a paid ad. That's why I don't watch any of Melissa Backwood stuff. I don't want to see paid ads, and I don't think she's hot enough to care to watch her. So.
And I don't want to act like I'm better than everybody else, but it's like I'm paying. I spend a lot of money on knives. It's my hard-earned money, and I'm buying them because I like them, not because someone's. Donnie didn't give me a deal. Todd doesn't give me a deal. Strider definitely doesn't know who the fuck I am.
I've never had anybody ask. I've been really fortunate by that. I've not had a single customer ask me for a deal.
Yeah.
Tell them how much it is. I've had a couple ask, hey, is there a cheaper steel option? And luckily there was. But I've never had anybody ask me for a deal. I have had people pay more than I quoted. You're one of them. I've had a handful of people do that. What really blows my mind is guys like Mad Yoko and Half Empty, and there's a handful out there that have paid me a good deal of money and haven't received their first one yet. You know what I mean? Like Mad Yoko's bought 3. When he bought that third one, he hasn't received his first one yet. He don't even know how good they are, and that means the world to me that people trust me that much. Luckily he's about to get his first one, and I finished his second one tonight. His third one's a couple weeks out. But
are they his designs?
The first one, the one he's getting in the next day or two, was a prototype of a design, and it wasn't at all what I had in my mind. I was going to scrap it, and then I showed it on a live stream. I had 2 of them, and both of them sold. People wanted them anyway, so I let them buy them. But the other 2 are his designs. And that's kind of my plans for keeping this thing going, is I want to be able to offer people who have a passion for designing knives an outlet, whether it's 1 knife, 5 knives, 10 knives, whatever. Well, make them a knife, let them show it off, market it. If they can sell it, then I'll make more, and they can make some money off of it. And I already know, just not looking at like what Matty made from Kaiser, he'll make more per knife off me than he did them. Now, will he sell as many? There's no way of knowing that, but he'll make more per knife.
See, and that's the thing, like with Matty and his design, I know, and Matt's got, he's got designs too that if China can do it, great. I'm not gonna say don't do it.
Yeah,
it's just not for me.
Right.
But also,
I'm really shocked.
But like you, so if they have a little bit more education and want to put it in a little work, there's companies here in the States they'll cut all those parts for them.
Right. You're 100% right. And I've offered to teach people. I can teach you how to do a very decent flat grind on a 1x30.
Yeah.
It requires little to no skill. You'd be shocked how seldom people ask, though. Nobody's taking me up on it. There's a very small modification you can make to that Harbor Freight 1x30 that can make you look like a pro bevel grinder. And it literally takes 5 minutes. But anyway, I don't get into that. But that's my hope. I've got a line of knives for Javon coming up. So, I hope those do well. I think Javon will be able to sell them. So, I've already got a bar Magna cut up. So his first batch, there'll be 5 of those, unless he decides to keep one. But yeah, that's my
knowing Javon, he'll keep all 5 of them.
Yeah, I hope not. But If so, Javon's going to start a payment plan. Because that's another thing. I mean, I was able to, he didn't have to pay up front to have 5 knives made. And I'm taking a risk here. If Javon can't sell them, then I'm not going to get that. So I'm willing to take the risk.
But that's the thing, though. I mean, that's kind of his thing. He likes those little fixies. I mean, that's kind of his gig, and I think if he can come up with a design that works, they'll sell.
I like it a lot. I mean, it actually wasn't at all what I expected, though. I mean, his design was a lot taller a knife than I pictured. I thought he'd want something really streamlined and skinny. But I like the fact that it's taller because that means you're going to get a much taller flat grind, which is going to equate to better geometry.
Does it? I mean, does it act as a bong also? I mean, that would be huge.
No, I mean, I'm sure you could chop up some weed with it. But
I'm going to end the stream. We can keep bullshitting if we need to. But
All right.
Peace out, stream people. Thanks for tuning in.
Love y'all.
Good times. Must see TV.
Greatest stream ever.